Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged, and these are the 10 best novels I've ever read, according to Goodreads. So welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, I have seen this little video done by numerous people so far, and I really like them. I've really enjoyed watching everybody's, so I thought I would give it a go myself. So yes, this is the 10 best novels I've ever read, apparently, according to Goodreads ratings. I don't use Goodreads a huge amount these days. I've gone over to Storygraph for most of my kind of logging data type stuff because I like their interface better and all their stats. But I still keep a track of what I've read on Goodreads, so and give it, kind of a star rating, etc. So I can dip back in there and see how my reading measures up. So I've made a few rules for this. I think the original rule was, only to look at books with over 1,000 public ratings. So that stays, that rule. I have gone for only one book per series, if it's part of a series, otherwise you'd have lots of repetition in this. As I say, it's novels, adult novels as well, so I'm not going for kids' books in here. And I've kind of put a sort of over 150 page limit on it. So it is novels, maybe a couple of sort of longer novellas, etc. in there, but nothing really short. So there won't be any graphic novels or anything like that in here. And it's fiction only, no non-fiction. So I've kind of narrowed it down a bit to novels. So let's dive into this top 10 then and see how it measures up against my own current top 10, or at least the top 10 that I did around about, I think, March last year, not long after I joined BookTube, which I think will probably have changed a bit when I next do it. But yeah, let's see how this measures up then. So in at number 10, we've got The Shining by Mr. Stephen King, with an average review rating of 4.27. Yes, I agree that this should be in the top 10. In fact, in my top 10, it is much further up the list. I think I've got it in at number 4. It's a 5-star for me. It was my first Stephen King. It's what got me into Stephen King. It's what got me into horror. It will always have a very special place for me. But it's just a great book. I've reread it several times, and it still gives me the chills. It's still extremely evocative and entertaining and scary, and yeah, I absolutely love it. So I absolutely agree that should be in the top 10. Okay, in at number 9 then is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, with an average rating of 4.29 out of 5. I don't know whether I'd put this in my current top 10, but certainly top 20 or 30, definitely. It's a 5-star read for me, absolutely. I only read it last year, but I absolutely loved it, and it surprised me how much I loved it, actually. It was a really thoroughly enjoyable experience. I had it as an audiobook, read by Rosamund Pike, who was fabulous. And I already knew the story because I'd seen the wonderful BBC miniseries with Colin Firth and Jennifer Ailey back in the 90s, which I love. But yeah, I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed it. So I'm okay with it being in the top 10 here. But yeah, it's probably more like top 20 or 30 for me. Okay, in at number 8 is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, with an average rating of 4.3. Yeah, this is in my top 10. This is 5-star for me, without a doubt. I think it's in at number 5, I think, in my top 10. I love this book. This was one of the first books that wasn't horror that I really fell in love with. It's kind of historical fiction and kind of magic realism, but it's really a book about books and the joy of books and the kind of mystery of books, and sort of strange libraries and stuff like that. It's just a joy. The whole series is actually I really like that whole series of books. So yeah, I don't have any problem with that being on there at all. As I say, it's in my current top 10, or at least the top 10 I did last year. So yeah, another good one. Well done, Goodreads. Okay, in at number 7 then is Gloam by Lily Mayne, with an average review rating of 4.31 out of 5. This is quite spicy. Male monster post-apocalyptic romance. Yeah, I really like this. I gave this a 4-star. It wouldn't make my top 10 of best all-time novels, but it definitely would make my top 10 kind of fun trashy reads. This series is all out fun for me. It's just feel good fun. It's really good world building. It's entertaining characters. The spice is quite well done. And it's just a lovely series. It's one of those where I just kind of just can romp through it basically. That I've read those for kind of Garb August events, and yeah, they're brilliant. I really like them. So yeah, although it wouldn't go into my top 10 all time, it'll definitely go into my top 10 trashy books. Okay, in at number 6 then is 11/22/63 by Mr. Stephen King, with an average rating of 4.33 out of 5. Yeah, this one would be nowhere close to my top 10 or even my top 50. It would probably be down in my bottom 10. I gave it a rating of 1.5 stars, which might be a little harsh. Maybe it deserves 2, but no, I think I'll stand by the 1.5. For me, that is a very personal thing. I just did not connect with this book at all. I was thoroughly disappointed with this book. I went in wanting, a kind of a good, exciting, dark, time travel kind of story from Stephen King. And although there were bits of that, it started off really well. A lot of it for me was mired in the kind of slice of life and kind of romance stuff. And I usually like slice of life stuff in Stephen King. That's one of the things I read him for. But in this, I just could not get on with it at all. And I was honestly bored for most of it. I read it all the way through because I wanted to see what happened in the end, and to be honest, the end I found quite disappointing as well. So yeah, absolutely, it's one of my least favourite Stephen King's by far. So yeah, it does not belong in the top 10 for me. Okay, in at number 5 then, we're sticking with Mr. King, with The Stand, with an average rating of 4.35 out of 5. Yeah, I don't know, it's not in my top 10, but it's definitely in my top 20. It's certainly my top 10 Stephen King books. I gave it a 5-star. I only read this for the first time a couple of years ago. And yeah, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant book. It has all of the stuff that I want from Stephen King's writing. Great characters, lots of threat, lots of ambiguity, lots of grey areas, and just kind of an epic tale, really. Yeah, really loved it. Okay, in at number 4 then, we have got The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, with an average review rating of 4.39 out of 5. Yeah, I gave this a 4-star, and it was a long time since I've rated this, and I've read it again since. And I don't know, to be honest, even if I downgrade that a bit these days to like a 3.5 maybe. Because although I love the plot of Lord of the Rings, and I love some of the characters, and I love the world, I love Tolkien's world and lore, I really don't like his writing style. I kind of trudged through it for the plot to read the books because I loved the films. It was one of those where actually, you know, I wanted to read the original stuff, and I enjoyed it because I enjoy that world, I enjoy those characters, I enjoy that story, but I really don't enjoy Tolkien as a writer. So as I say, it wouldn't be in my top, it's not in my top 10. The Hobbit is in my top 10, but that's a lot simpler in terms of the writing style. It's a quicker read, and I really enjoy that one. But yeah, no, Fellowship and the other two books in the series, they're not like way down in my lists, but they're certainly not top 10 or top 20. Okay, in at number 3, we've got The Martian by Andy Weir, with a rating of 4.42 out of 5. I gave this a 4-star. I really enjoyed this. It is a very good book. It's a great popular science fiction book. It's a really accessible read. It's funny. It's exciting. It's got a great character in Mark Watney. I would read it again. It's, you know, it's good enough to make me want to read it again for sure. But it's not in my top 10. Top 50 maybe. Yeah, probably top 50. But it's not that good. It's good, but it's not that good. Okay, in at number 2 is A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers, the second of the 2 Monk and Robot books. And this gets an average rating of 4.42 as well. Yes, this deserves to be here. This is a 5-star read for me, absolutely. It's a while since I did my top 10 list, and so I need to redo it. And bear in mind, I've read well over 100 books, probably close to 150 books since I did that top 10. So there's going to be some new entries into it, and this, or at least the duology, because I kind of see these two together. They absolutely will. One of them or both of them will make it into that new top 10 whenever I do that, because The Sound for the Wild Bill was my number 1 book last year. Prayer for the Crown Shy is just as good. I can't quite decide which one I love better, but yes, they absolutely deserve to be there. And in at number 1 then, we've got Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, with an average rating of 4.51 out of 5. Yes, this deserves to be in the top 10. Not quite up the top spot, but it is in my current top 10 at number 2, and I think it'll probably stay there or thereabouts when I redo it. I love this book, absolutely love this book, particularly in its audio form, with the narration by Ray Porter. It is one of my all-time favourite reading/listening experiences. I've listened to kind of parts of it since. It's my ultimate comfort book if I'm tired or feeling low and I don't want to listen to something new because I can't concentrate on it. Then that is what goes on goes on my headphones. Yeah, brilliant book, and as I say, absolutely deserves to be high up in the top 10. Okay, so there we go. So I think Goodreads didn't do too bad there. There's only one that I absolutely categorically disagree with, which is the 11/22/63. Most of the others, yeah, they're all good books in one way or another, even though they might not have made my top 10. But yes, so there we go. That is the top 10 best novels I've ever read according to Goodreads. Next week I will be back with the 10 worst novels that I've read according to Goodreads, and we'll see if there's maybe some more controversial ones in there. So thank you very much for watching today, folks. Do drop your thoughts in the comments below, what you think of this list. I'll be back with another video in a few days, so I do hope you will join me again then. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.